So is the man that you're seeing right now your soulmate? Is he just some kind of regular connection that you have? Or are you guys absolutely wrong for each other? That's what we're going to be talking about today. Hello, my name is Matthew Coast, and welcome to Commitment Connection. Today we're going to be talking about 8 different signs that the man that you're seeing is not your soulmate. So what are the signs? Number 1 is there's never been any real trust in your relationship. So relationships are built and they grow through mutual trust, putting each other's needs first, and taking ownership of the entire relationship. And so if you guys can't trust each other, then you're probably not meant for each other, at least not long term. So number 2 is that you're constantly fighting with one another. So occasional conflict it's normal in a relationship. Everybody has conflict. When 2 people come together from different backgrounds with different values, conflict happens because it's a normal part of life, right? But if you guys are fighting all the time, it might be that the timing for each other is a little bit off, right? You may need to go and do some healing work if you have some pain from your past that you haven't gotten over yet, because a lot of times fighting, what it comes from is like you have things that you're trying to protect yourself from, and so you make sure that you're not getting hurt, and so you end up fighting because of it. So the timing might be off, and maybe you need to do some healing work or some growing before you can really figure out whether you're a good match for each other. Either that or your values might be completely off. And so either way, it's probably good to take some space and really spend some time thinking about what's going on in your situation and thinking of what the best way forward is, whether your values are just too far off or whether you need to do some healing work or some growth first. Number 3 is you always fantasize about being with someone else, and not just physically. So fantasizing about people, it actually happens pretty often in even healthy, normal relationships. You see somebody and there's a glimmer of fantasy that happens, right? Once in a while. That's actually pretty common and pretty normal, even among happy couples. But if you're fantasizing a lot about being with somebody, it means that you're probably not really in love with the person that you're with. And so you might want to think a little bit more about, is this person right for me? Do we have the soulmate connection that I want? Is this something that's going to have a future together? Or, is it something that we might be doing? Or is it something that where it's just, we've been seeing each other for a while? And it's one of those things that love can grow. It can grow and develop between partners. That's actually something that happens all the time. But there's also situations where women will sometimes get into situations with guys because they want to see if that love will grow, but it never does. And I've talked to women in our community who got married to guys like this and then ended up getting divorced because it never ended up showing up. And there's actually a reason for that. Number 4 is you're missing that deep personal communication that you guys have. So soulmates speak to each other's souls, right? It's your soulmate. So one person or the other isn't letting the other person into their heart. That's a sign that you're missing that, right? And that can make leave you feeling empty and like there's something better out there for you. And if you want that deep connection, the best place to find it is with your partner. It is possible that if you're like, hey, no, I love this relationship that I'm in and I don't need that soulmate connection with my partner, you can always get it from somebody else. Although that, depending on your relationship, that could be considered cheating. That could not be considered cheating. Sometimes it's from a same-sex partner where you're just friends and you just have a deep connection. And so you need to decide whether that's something that you're willing to put aside in your situation or not, or whether you want it all in one spot. So number 5 is you never act yourself around him. You act like who you think he wants you to be. And so if you're with someone who wants to fix or mold or shape you into the perfect person that they want you to be, that's a problem, right? You should always be growing. I absolutely am a huge fan of growth, right? And developing yourself and making yourself the best version of you that you can possibly be. That's incredibly important in life. But you should also be with someone who wants to pull out your personality and accepts you for who you are. So if you can't accept him or he can't accept you, you're probably with the wrong person long term. You're definitely not with your soulmate. Number 6 is your values and goals in life are totally misaligned. And so it's normal to have your own goals and things that you're working on in your life. That's great. That's normal. That's perfect. But they shouldn't be a total mismatch, right? If your values are too different, right? If you're going in completely opposite directions and you don't see the kind of the same you're not seeing on the same fundamental levels, right? There's too many like important foundational things that are misaligned in your relationship. It'll be very difficult to grow and see each other together in the long term. So number 7, there's never an intense, passionate connection between you. So it's a lot more common to meet someone who you like and you get along with and everything's fine and you have a good relationship, but it's very uncommon to meet someone who makes you feel alive inside, right? Passion is that thing that makes a connection deep and raw and intense. And if there's no passion there, you might be good together, everything might be fine, it might be happy, it might be okay, but he's not really that soulmate connection. And it's actually, passion is something that you can develop in a relationship if you want to. Passion is created by polarity. I talk a lot about that, the polarity principle. And so you can develop passion in your relationship if you don't currently have it. Number 8 is that you don't make each other's lives better. So a good relationship doesn't just make you feel good. It makes your entire life better, right? You feel happier. The best parts of you are pulled out. You feel passionate. You feel alive inside, right? And the relationship inspires you to be a better person, and your life is better off because of this. And if it isn't true, if the relationship doesn't add that much value to your life, why would you want to be in it in the first place? And so you want to get into relationships with your heart and your head, right? I see women sometimes, they get into the relationship just because their heart makes them feel it, or there's some kind of passion there or something, but the person really isn't right for them, but they're ignoring that. And I also see women that get into relationships because everything's right on paper, but ultimately he's not the right person for you. And so you want to make sure that it's both. He's adding the relationship adds value to your life, and that you're using both your head and your heart when you're deciding who you're going to spend your life with. This is the most important decision that you can make in your entire life. You want to make a good decision.